Today we are going to continue with the same chapter, that is chapter number 10. Image placeholder. Sometimes it may also happen that the image or the images you wish to use in your web page or website may not be ready. In such cases, you can use an image placeholder. An image placeholder is a graphic you use until the final image to be added to a web page is decided. You can set the placeholder size and color as well as the text label. In the document window, place the insertion point where you want to place a placeholder graphic. Click on the images on the Common tab of the insert bar and then select the image placeholder. The image placeholder dialog box appears. In name, enter the text you may prefer as a label for the image placeholder. Leave the text box blank if you do not want a label to appear. The name must begin with a letter and can contain only letters and numbers. Spaces are not allowed. For width and height, type a number to set the image size in pixels. For color, select a color from the color palette. For alternate text, enter the text to describe the image for viewers using a text-only browser and then click on the OK button. The placeholder's color, size, attributes and label appear as seen. When viewed in a browser, the label and size text do not appear. What is seen is the alternate text you have specified. Image maps. An image map is an image which is divided into clickable regions called hotspots. Hotspots are hyperlinks. When a user clicks a hotspot, the destination of the hyperlink is displayed. Hotspot can be in the shape of a rectangle, a circle, or a polygon. For example, consider showing various inputs and the output devices. When you click on any one device, you can make information on that device appear. Do the following to create a hotspot. Select the image in the document window. If you are using multiple image maps in the same document, type a unique map name for each in the property inspector. To define the image map area, do one of the following. Select the circle or a rectangle tool and drag the pointer over the image to create a circular or a rectangular hotspot. Select the polygon tool and click the corners for an irregularly shaped hotspot. Let us see an example. Select the rectangle tool and drag the image of the trackball. Click the arrow tool to close the shape. The hotspot property inspector appears. The link text box specifies the file to open when the user clicks the link. Click the folder icon to browse to and select the file. Drag the point to file icon to the required file in the files panel. Select one of the following for target. Blank. It loads the linked file into a new browser window. Parent. It loads the linked file into the parent frameset or window. Self. It loads the linked file into the same frame or a window. Top. It loads the linked file into a full browser window, thereby removing all frames. In the alt text box, type the alternate text that will display the text-only browsers. Repeat the steps 3 to 7. To define the additional hotspots in the same image, shows the image map into 3 spots: rectangular, circular and polygonal. After you finish, click a blank area in the document to change the property inspector. View the page in a browser by pressing F12 or by clicking Preview Debug in Browser or selecting File Preview. Move the pointer over the trackball image. Hotspots are hyperlinks, so the pointer changes to a pointing finger symbol when it moves over them. Click a hotspot to display the linked web page. Frameset and frames. A web page can be divided into different regions called frames, each of which can display an HTML document independently. A frameset is an HTML file that defines the layout and properties of a set of frames, including the number of frames, the size and placement of each, and the URL of each page that appears in each frame. The frameset file itself does not contain, says, any HTML content that will be visible in a browser. To view a set of frames in a browser, enter the URL of the frameset file. Creating a frameset. Following are the steps to create a frameset. Select File, New. The new document dialog box appears. Select Page from Sample as a type of web page. Frameset as a sample folder. Select Fixed Top Nested Left as a sample page and then click on Create. The Frameset Tag Accessibility Attribute dialog box appears. Then you can change the frame titles as required and then click on the OK button. A new frames with a set of 3 frames is inserted. If the frames panel is not visible, select the frame panel visually represents the frames within a frame set. A very thick line surrounds the frame set. To resize a frame, drag the frame border. To split a frame using a frame border that is not the edge of the design view, press the Alt key and then drag the desired frame. To delete a frame, drag a frame border of the page or the border of the parent frame. Saving a frame set and frames. Before you work with the frame set, you must save the frame set file and all the documents that will appear in the frames. You can also save each and every file individually or save them together at once. To save a frame set, click on the Select File, Save Frame Set. To save a frame, click in a frame and select File, Save Frame. To save a frame set file with the frame documents, click on File, Save All. The Save As dialog box appears. Enter the suitable name for the frame set and frames and then click on the OK button. When you save a frame set file, the frame documents, the Save As dialog box appears for saving the frame set and for saving each frame. While saving a frame, you will see a border around that frame. Selecting frame sets and frames. You have to select a frame set or a frame before you can change its properties. You can select frame sets and frames either in a document window or the frames panel. Each frame is surrounded by a thin gray line and it is identified by a frame name. When a frame is selected in the document window, its borders are outlined with dotted lines. It is frame set selected, all the borders of the frames within that frame sets are outlined with a light dotted line. To select a frame, press Alt and click inside a frame in design view or click a frame in the frames panel. To select a frame set, click one of the frame set's internal frame border in design view or click the frame border in the frames panel. Frame sets and the frame properties. When you select a frame set, its properties are visible in the property inspector. Borders. It specifies the borders which will be visible. Yes displays border around the frames and no hides the border around the frames. Default allows the browser to determine how the borders are displayed. Border width. It sets the width for all the borders in the frame set. Border color. It sets the border color. Choose a color from a color picker. Row color selection. It sets the frame sets for rows and columns of the frame set. SRC. It specifies the source document. Scroll, it specifies the scroll bar appears in the frame. Yes, a scroll bar appears. No, no scroll bar. Default, it allows the browser to use its default value. Auto, a scroll bar appears when there is not enough space to display the entire content of the frame. No resize, prevents visitors from dragging the frame borders to resize the frame. Borders, it specifies whether to show or hide the borders of the current frame. Border color, sets the border color for all the borders that touch the frame. Margin width, sets the left and right margins. Margin height, it specifies the height, that is top and the bottom margin. You can change the background color of a document in a frame. Select the frame, click on the page properties. The page property dialog box appears and click on the background color. Control frame and contents with the link. If your navigation bar is in the left frame and you want the linked content to appear in the main frame on the right, you must specify the name of the frame as the target for each of the navigation bar links. When the visitor clicks a link, specified content opens in a specified target time. In design view, select the text or image that will become a hyperlink. In the link box of the property inspector, click the browser for file or point to file, linked file in the file spanner. Linking to Word and Excel documents. You can add a link to Word or an Excel documents. Open the page. Drag the Word or Excel file from the current location to anywhere on the Dreamweaver. Then insert the document. Click a link and then click on the OK button. Thank you. Now we will end our class here.